Close your eyes for just a moment and imagine this: every debt you carry, gone. Money begins to flow steadily without struggle. Peace fills your home. Arguments fade, stress lifts, and a gentle sense of harmony settles into your space. Even the air feels lighter, brighter, like something has quietly shifted. Sounds almost magical, doesn't it? But what if I told you that this transformation doesn't require a renovation? You don't need a spiritual healer. You don't need expensive crystals. In fact, the most powerful shift could begin with something you already have sitting quietly in your kitchen. A simple jar of salt. Yes, salt. In Feng Shui and ancient energy traditions, salt is far more than just seasoning. It's a powerful energy purifier capable of absorbing heavy negative vibrations, clearing stagnant energy and activating wealth flow in your home. But, and this is where most people go wrong, salt only works if it's placed in the right location. Put it in the wrong spot, and it can actually disrupt energy, drain your finances, and affect the emotional well-being of everyone in the house. In today's video, you'll discover why salt holds such powerful energetic properties. The 6 key places to put a salt jar to quietly invite wealth into your space. The common mistakes that block its effects, or worse, reverse them. And one rarely talked about secret to help prosperity not just enter, but stay. Before we begin, leave a comment below as your personal affirmation: I am ready to welcome abundance. Or, I open my heart to the energy of peace, prosperity, and wealth. Because in Feng Shui, energy begins with intention, and your vibration is the invitation the universe responds to. So why salt? Why do so many ancient traditions, from the East to the West, consider this everyday mineral to be sacred, even magical? It's not just folklore. There's powerful energetic logic behind it. Salt in its purest form is a crystallized bond of water and earth, 2 of the 5 core elements in Feng Shui. This combination makes it one of the few natural substances that carries both stability and cleansing power. It holds yin and yang in harmony, making it ideal for balancing the energy of a home. In Feng Shui, energy, or qi, is everything. When your home has strong, healthy qi, opportunities flow. Money stays, your health improves, and life feels lighter and more aligned. But when the energy is blocked, polluted, or weighed down by negativity, you may feel stuck for no clear reason. Money slips away, conflict increases, and your motivation begins to fade. This is where salt comes in. When placed intentionally in the right area of your home, a salt jar acts like a silent guardian. It soaks up negative energy like a sponge, the kind of heaviness you can't see but definitely feel. It purifies the energy field around it and, more importantly, stabilizes the flow of wealth energy. Over time, you may notice subtle shifts. The tension in the air disappears. Things start to go more smoothly. Clients return, projects move forward, and you stop losing money for reasons that never made sense. This is why the ancients often called salt white gold. Not just because it preserved food, but because it preserved fortune. Salt doesn't magically make money appear, but it creates an environment where good energy can gather, settle, and build over time. Like planting seeds in soil that's finely fertile. And that's where this practice becomes so much more than just placing a jar. It becomes a foundation for lasting transformation, one that begins quietly and visibly, but powerfully. Now that you understand the power of salt, let's talk about the vessel, the salt jar itself. Because here's something many people overlook. The jar matters just as much as the salt inside. In Feng Shui, form influences energy, so the material, shape, and even color of your salt jar directly affect how well it works. Let's start with the material. Ceramic is the #1 choice. It represents the earth element, grounding, stable, and deeply connected to wealth energy. Ceramic jars absorb and hold energy beautifully, and they create a steady foundation for financial growth. Thick glass is a strong second. If your space is more modern, a pure, clear glass jar can still retain energy effectively. Just make sure it's not too thin or mixed with synthetic materials. Avoid plastic at all costs. Plastic is synthetic and lifeless. It cannot hold or channel energy. Avoid metal jars too. Since salt is associated with the water element, metal can clash and create cold, scattered vibrations, weakening the effect. Next, the shape. Always choose a jar that's round, full-bodied, and smooth. In Feng Shui, circles symbolize wholeness, harmony, and flow. Avoid square, sharp, or angular shapes. They restrict energy and cause blockages. Now let's talk color. Ivory white brings in clean, uplifting yang energy, bright, clear, and expansive. Earthy brown grounds and stabilizes wealth, helping money arrive and stay. Want an energy boost? Add a red string around the neck of the jar, or choose a jar with subtle red accents. Red is the color of prosperity, vitality, and active energy. And what about the salt itself? Choose coarse raw sea salt, unprocessed, unbleached, and as close to nature as possible. Don't pack it tightly, and don't fill the jar all the way to the top. Leave a little space at the top so the energy can breathe and circulate freely. Because remember, this isn't just a jar, it's a living energy center in your home. Every detail, from material to shape to salt, is a message you send out into the universe. I am ready to receive, I am ready to grow, I honor the energy that supports my abundance. Now that you've chosen the perfect salt jar, crafted with care, filled with intention, the next question is just as important. Where should you place it to unlock its full power? Because even the most energetically aligned salt jar can lose its magic if it's placed in the wrong spot. Let's explore the 6 most powerful locations in your home where a simple jar of salt can quietly attract wealth, protect your energy, and shift your fortune. Placement number 1, the wealth corner, southeast. The very first and most powerful place to put your salt jar is the southeast corner of your home. In Feng Shui, this direction is known as the wealth corner. It governs money, long-term prosperity, and the ability to accumulate abundance over time. Think of it as the energetic bank account of your living space. When this area is activated and balanced, money doesn't just come in, it stays, grows, and multiplies. So how do you set it up? First, locate the southeast section of your home using a basic compass or Feng Shui Bagua map. Once found, look for a clean, calm, and slightly elevated spot in that area, like a small table, open shelf, or a sturdy pedestal. Make sure it's higher than the floor level and not in a dark or cluttered corner. Next, place your prepared salt jar on this spot. Now here's where we enhance it even further. Fold a paper currency note, any denomination, into a small pyramid shape and place it underneath the jar. The pyramid is a powerful geometric symbol that helps amplify and stabilize energy. You can also add a gold coin or small round token inside the jar to represent ongoing wealth. Include a clove of dried garlic to protect your fortune from being drained by outside influences. Together, this creates a trio of energy, wealth, money protection, garlic, and magnetism salt. Be mindful of what's around the jar. Avoid placing it near water sources like bathrooms, washing machines, or under leaky pipes. In Feng Shui, excess water in the southeast can wash away money, weakening the effect. Keep the space open, peaceful, and well lit. This allows energy to flow freely, and it makes the salt jar feel respected, stable, and supported. You don't need to constantly check on it or move it around. Just let it sit quietly, doing its work. Over time, many people notice they spend less unexpectedly, save more easily, or attract steady income without dramatic life changes. Because when the wealth corner is nurtured, money no longer feels like a struggle. It begins to feel like a natural part of your home's energy. Placement number 2, just behind the front door. If the southeast corner is the place where wealth accumulates, then your front door is the first point of entry, not just for people, but for energy. In Feng Shui, the front door is called the mouth of chai. It's where the energy from the outside world flows in and merges with your home's inner vibration. And every time someone steps through that doorway, whether it's you, your family, or a visitor, they bring energy with them. Some of that energy is joyful and light, but some may be tired, heavy, stressed, or even energetically toxic, without anyone realizing it. That's why the second most effective place to put a salt jar is just behind your main entrance. Here's how it works. When you place a salt jar discreetly behind the front door, it acts as a silent energy filter. It does 2 very important things. Neutralizes low, negative, or heavy energy brought in by people or events. Anchors and holds good fortune that might otherwise slip away unnoticed. To place it properly, find a small hidden corner near the door. It could be behind a shoe rack, next to a potted plant, or tucked near a side table. The key is that it's not in the way, not overly visible, and not directly in the path of foot traffic. You don't want people stepping over it or even noticing it. The jar should sit quietly grounded and undisturbed. To enhance its protective effect, you can wrap a red string around the neck of the jar or place a clove of dried garlic inside, both symbols of protection and energetic cleansing. Avoid placing it directly beside the door on cold tile or near anything metallic or electronic. Salt needs a stable and calm environment to do its best work. And here's a tip: replace this jar every 3 months. It absorbs a lot of energy, and over time that energy can become saturated. Refreshing it keeps your home energetically clean and financially receptive. Because when your front entrance is protected, your home becomes a sanctuary, and the wealth you invite in has a clear open path and a reason to stay. Placement number 3, beside the rice container in the kitchen. The third powerful placement for your salt jar is one that many people overlook, but in Feng Shui it holds deep significance. The kitchen, specifically next to your rice container. In traditional Feng Shui, the kitchen is considered the treasury of the home. It symbolizes abundance, nourishment, and ongoing prosperity. It's not just the place where food is prepared, it's where energy is generated to sustain the entire household. And at the heart of the kitchen is the rice container. Rice, especially in Eastern cultures, is more than just a staple food. It represents stability, security, and the ability to feed, support, and provide. Pairing your salt jar with a rice container creates a powerful energetic balance between two fundamental elements. Rice represents the wood element, growth, fertility, and expansion. Salt carries the water element, purification, protection, and flow. When water nourishes, wood prosperity takes root and grows in harmony. Here's how to do it right. Place your salt jar on a clean, flat surface near your rice container. Avoid placing it too close to the stove fire or the sink excess water, as those can disrupt its energy. The jar should be of moderate size, not too small to be ignored, not so large that it dominates the space. If your rice container has a red lid or lucky symbols, you can place a small red cloth over the salt jar to amplify the energy connection. To keep the energy active, gently rotate the salt jar 3 times clockwise with your hand once a month. This symbolic motion tells the energy, I'm still here, I'm still open to wealth and nourishment. And here's a bonus tip. If your salt jar is tucked away in a corner or hidden behind items, consider placing a flat or concave bagua mirror behind it. This traditional feng shui tool helps reflect and magnify wealth energy, creating a subtle, returning light effect, where prosperity doesn't just enter, it circulates and deepens. In the kitchen, wealth is tied to how you feed your family, physically and energetically. By pairing salt with rice, you're not just storing food, you're storing fortune. Placement number 4, under the staircase. This next location may surprise you, but it plays a crucial role in the overall flow of energy throughout your home. Under the staircase. In Feng Shui, staircases are like the spine of a house. They connect different levels of energy, allowing qi to move from one floor to another. But the area beneath the stairs, that space is often dark, cramped, forgotten, and stagnant. And where energy becomes stagnant, problems tend to grow. Over time, the space under a staircase can become a silent magnet for heavy yin energy, the kind that causes sluggish motivation, mental fog, financial blockages, and even subtle tension within the home. This is where a salt jar can make a powerful difference. Placed discreetly under the stairs, the salt jar acts as an energetic sponge, silently absorbing those lingering low vibrations. It doesn't attract wealth like the southeast corner, and it doesn't filter outside energy like the front door. Instead, it stabilizes your home's internal energy by cleansing what most people ignore. Here's how to place it. Choose a small to medium-sized jar, ideally ceramic or glass, and place it on a wooden or ceramic tray. Avoid setting it directly on cold tile or concrete, which can scatter earth energy and weaken its effect. You can add a clove of dried garlic or a piece of red cloth over the jar to reinforce its cleansing and protective power. If the space under your stairs is used for storage shoes or appliances like a washing machine, placing a salt jar there becomes even more important. These items often carry stale energy. The salt jar acts as your home's quiet guardian. And don't worry if no one ever sees it. In fact, the less attention it receives, the better it works. Its strength comes from stillness, silence, and being grounded. Check it every couple of months. If you notice moisture discoloration or a sudden heaviness in that part of the house, it may be time to replace it. Because when the energy under your staircase is clean, your entire home stands stronger. What rises from below will rise in balance. Placement, number 5, behind or near the bathroom area. If there's one place in your home that quietly disrupts energy more than any other, especially wealth energy, it's the bathroom. In Feng Shui, bathrooms are known for their heavy, stagnant, and draining energy. Why? Because they're spaces of constant outflow. Water leaves the home through toilets, drains, and sinks, and with it so does chai. Over time, that creates an energetic leak that can affect your finances, health, mental clarity, emotional balance. This effect is even more intense if the bathroom is located at the back of the house, where energy is supposed to gather and settle. In that case, the draining effect doesn't just impact one area. It begins to pull the life force out of your home. That's why placing a salt jar behind or near the bathroom is essential. You don't need to place it inside the bathroom, and in fact, you shouldn't. The moisture can overwhelm the salt. Instead, find a dry, stable surface just outside the bathroom door, behind a wall, under a cabinet, or in a quiet corner nearby. This salt jar acts as an energetic filter, quietly absorbing the dense frequencies and preventing them from spreading into the rest of your living space. To enhance its effect, include one of the following: a clove of garlic for energetic protection, a piece of dried orange peel to brighten and refresh energy, or even a small note inside the jar with the word purity written on it, as a symbolic reminder of your intention. Make sure the jar is always dry and clean. Never let it accumulate water. If the salt begins to clump, discolor, or smell musty, replace it immediately. A waterlogged salt jar doesn't just lose its power, it can begin to release the very energy it absorbed. When used properly, this one jar can transform the emotional climate of your home. Many people report feeling fewer small illnesses, less fatigue, more peace in their family, and even an improvement in financial flow. Because when stagnant energy is cleared at the source, your home becomes lighter and your life becomes freer. Placement number 6, the hidden northwest corner for divine support and benefactors. Our final placement may not be directly about money, but it can quietly shape your entire financial journey, the northwest corner of your home. In Feng Shui, this area is known as the heavenly support or benefactor sector. It governs the presence of helpful people, mentors, protectors, and divine timing. This is the energy behind the unexpected phone call that leads to a job offer, the advisor who shows up just when you're lost, or the doors that open without struggle simply because someone believed in you. This kind of support doesn't always appear in numbers, but it makes the numbers grow. The Northwest is ruled by the metal element, which carries strength, structure, and clarity. But when unbalanced metal energy can become cold, rigid, or disconnected, making it hard for support to reach you even when you need it. This is why placing a salt jar in the northwest corner helps soften the space, open the energetic field, and invite benevolent forces into your life. Here's how to set it up. Find a quiet, undisturbed area in the northwest corner of your home, a shelf, a cabinet, a high surface, or even a hidden nook. Use a ceramic or glass jar filled with coarse sea salt as always. Inside the jar, add a gold-colored coin or a small round metal token to connect with the metal element. You can also place a clove of garlic or a slice of dried ginger inside to represent earth energy, the grounding force that helps benefactors connect with you. You don't need to touch or check this jar often. Just let it sit quietly, building subtle energy over time. Many people report receiving guidance when they feel stuck, finding kind strangers or new opportunities out of nowhere, feeling a deeper sense of trust in their path even during challenges. Because when your support energy is strong, you don't just survive, you rise with help at just the right moment. This salt jar doesn't bring wealth directly, it brings the people and timing that help you create and sustain it. 5 dangerous mistakes to avoid when using a Feng Shui salt jar. Now that you've learned where to place your salt jar for maximum effect, it's time to talk about something just as important: what not to do. Because as powerful as a Feng Shui salt jar can be, using it incorrectly can reverse its energy, causing more harm than good. Here are 5 critical mistakes you must avoid to protect your home's energy and ensure your salt jar truly works for you. Mistake number 1, placing it in the south area of your home. The south is governed by the fire element while salt belongs to water. In the 5-element cycle, water puts out fire, which may sound calming, but in Feng Shui, this creates a clash of energy. Placing salt here can weaken reputation status in the overall life force of the home. Keep the south vibrant and warm, but salt-free. Mistake number 2, setting the jar near drains, moldy areas, or damp corners. Salt naturally absorbs moisture. If you place it in an already humid or dirty spot, it soaks in toxic energy, making it a storage tank for negativity. This not only kills its purifying power, but can actually release the absorbed energy back into the space. Always place your salt jar on a dry, clean, and stable surface. Mistake number 3, keeping it too close to electronics or strong heat sources. Microwaves, electric stoves, and Wi-Fi routers give off chaotic electromagnetic fields. These disrupt the salt's energy field and can scatter or confuse your intention. Your salt jar needs stillness and energetic calm to work properly. Mistake number 4, letting the jar become empty, wet, or crusted over. An overused salt jar is like a sponge that's full. It can't absorb anything else. If the salt starts to clump, discolor, smell, or collect water, it must be replaced. A depleted jar becomes a symbol of emptiness and can quietly invite sluggishness or financial stagnation. Mistake number 5, using Feng Shui salt for cooking. This is a serious taboo. Once salt has been placed for energy work, it's no longer clean. It has absorbed energetic residue, even if it looks unchanged. Never use it for food, discard it respectfully, or return it to nature. Avoiding these 5 mistakes isn't about superstition, it's about respecting energy boundaries. And when you do, your salt jar becomes a true ally in creating stability, wealth, and emotional clarity at home. By now you may be wondering, how do I apply all of this in real life? What if I live in a small apartment? What if others see the jar? Can I have more than one? Let's go through some of the most frequently asked questions to help you confidently use your Feng Shui salt jar with ease. Question 1. Can I place multiple salt jars around my home? Yes, but don't overdo it. The ideal number is no more than 3 at a time. In Feng Shui, balance is key. More jars doesn't mean more power. In fact, it can create overlapping or conflicting energy fields, which weakens the effect. Think of it like incense. 1 stick fills the room beautifully. 10, it's overwhelming. Question 2. What if other people see the jar? Ideally, they shouldn't. Your salt jar works best when it's quiet, still, and private. When others see it, ask about it, or touch it, even with good intentions, it can disrupt the energy frequency and dilute its purpose. Treat it like a sacred tool. The less attention it gets, the more powerful it becomes. Question 3. What if the salt clumps, molds, or turns watery? That means it's done its job. It has absorbed more than it can hold. Replace it immediately. Seal the old salt in a bag and either bury it in a quiet, natural spot or release it into flowing water, like a stream, to return the energy to nature. Question 4. What if I don't feel any effect? A few possible reasons. The placement may be off, wrong direction, or too exposed. The salt hasn't been refreshed in a while. You might be doubting the process or carrying anxious energy. Remember, intention matters. Energy responds to your inner state. Stay calm, trusting, and consistent. Bonus tips to boost effectiveness. Place a pyramid-folded currency note under the jar to amplify energy. Add dried garlic, orange peel, or a coin inside the jar, depending on the placement and purpose. Every 2 to 3 months, change the salt completely. Once a month, gently rotate the jar clockwise 3 times to reactivate energy flow. When cared for intentionally, your salt jar becomes more than just a ritual. It becomes a quiet, powerful conversation with the universe. A salt jar may seem like a small thing, but when placed with intention, it becomes something powerful. A quiet guardian of your home's energy and a steady anchor for abundance to take root. Remember, true Feng Shui isn't about superstition or luck. It's about creating space in your home, in your energy, and in your heart for what you want to flow in and stay. Wealth doesn't always rush in loudly. Sometimes it arrives softly, in the form of stability, peace, fewer worries, and small unexpected blessings that start to add up. So don't underestimate the power of what you've done today. You've taken a meaningful step, not just by placing a jar of salt, but by declaring to the universe, I am ready, I am open, I am aligned with prosperity. If this video resonated with you, leave a comment below with an affirmation like, I welcome peaceful, lasting abundance into my life. Sahur, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gentle, powerful guidance on energy balance and prosperity. Until next time, may your space be clear, your energy be calm, and your wealth flow in with ease.